understanding seed jargon. First, what is a cultivar? A cultivar is a kind of cultivated plant that people have selected for desired traits and retain those traits when they're propagated. Popular ornamental plants such as roses, lilies, daffodils, many others were selected by their floral color, size, plant formation, and other desirable characteristics. Makes sense. The world's agricultural food crops are almost exclusively cultivars that have been selected for characteristics such as improved yield, flavor, and resistance to disease. There are many new cultivars being developed in labs now using genetic modification methods. So what is a GMO? A GMO is a plant that was developed in a lab using different genetic splicing techniques in order to produce traits that couldn't happen using natural methods. Part of the plant's DNA is replaced with genes from another organism. That organism could be a plant or an animal, and it produces a new organism. These traits may be for better pest, disease, and herbicide resistance, different nutrient profiles, better resistance to drought. The adoption of this technology has increased from 1.7 million hectares in 1996 to 185 million hectares in 2016. This is 2025, so it's probably even a lot more than that. The only GMO that's actually available to the gardener is a tomato called purple. What's a hybrid? A hybrid is a plant that results from cross-pollinating two different species or varieties. The goal of hybridization is to combine the best traits from the parent plants into the offspring. Often, these are developed for commercial uses, although they're very, very available for gardeners. They often have more uniform size, they have better disease and pest resistance, they ripen more uniform, and often have higher yields. Hybridization is a 100% natural process. Happens in nature all the time. Hybrid vegetables can be sold and consumed as organic, provided they have been grown meeting organic methods. The first generation of the seeds is called an F1 seed. What are the benefits? More uniformed and outperform open-pollinated plants. They usually have better disease resistance. The yields are often higher. The plants grow more vigorously. One of the big drawbacks to hybrid seeds is they tend to be more expensive, and if you're trying to save your seeds, they're not going to usually develop the same plant over again. Selective breeding involves selecting individual species that have characteristics of interest in order that the offspring inherit those desirable characteristics. After going through enough generations and we're selecting which plants are showing those characteristics through different generations, we eventually end up with an open-pollinated cultivar. An open-pollinate generally refers to seeds that are breeding true. When plants of an open pollinate or self-pollinate or pollinated from other representatives of the same variety, the resulting seeds and plants will be roughly identical to the parents, bearing all the same traits. While it's interesting that all heirloom, and we'll talk about heirloom in a second, while all heirlooms are open pollinated, not all open pollinated are considered heirlooms. It's important to note that although open pollinate breed true, they can still be cross-pollinated, and that next generation of seed will be an F1 hybrid. Heirloom seeds are seeds that have been developed over time and passed down through generations. They're always open pollinate, meaning they're pollinated by wind, insects, birds, whatever the mechanism is, and they breed true to type. It is important to note they can be cross-pollinated with other plants, and the following generation will be an F1 hybrid. Because these seeds are traditionally passed down through generations, and in a certain region, they become very adapted to that region. Look for varieties that have been developed in your region for best results. In other words, don't just buy whatever heirloom seeds just because it's an heirloom seed. Do a little research. If you live in a colder area, find a variety that's been developed in a colder area. If you live in a really hot region, look for ones that have been developed for your specific conditions. So when can you call an open pollinate plant an heirloom? Well, one school of thought says it has to be over 100 years old. Other people say 50 years old. Others say it must be predated 1945, which marks the end of World War II and when we started using a lot more hybrid seeds. Some gardeners say, well, 1951. Basically, what that means is there's no standard to what an actual heirloom is. There is no standard. Open pollinate and heirloom are the same, but they're not the same. Yeah. So what should I grow? GMO? Hybrid? Open pollinate? Heirloom? Well, for me, GMO's out. It's not necessarily because they're healthy or not healthy, or they're good or they're bad, or whatever that is. There's plenty of other types of seeds to be growing without having to introduce that into my garden. And plus, I'm not really all that interested in growing a purple tomato. Hybrids have better disease resistance, better pest resistance, and are often more productive. This can make them an easy win for first-time growers. Most people don't save their seeds anyway. Open pollinate and heirloom seed breed true to type and are rooted in tradition. The only real difference between open pollinate and an heirloom plant is how long that cultivar has been around. They often have problems. They're less uniform. Oftentimes they are less resistant to diseases. They can be less productive. Some people say they're more flavorful. Many gardeners get hung up on, I must grow heirlooms. And I think that's a mistake. I'm not discouraging you from growing heirlooms. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Grow heirlooms, they're wonderful. But if you're having a problem with your garden of some kind, look into those hybrids. They could help solve your problem, reducing the amount of stress, increasing the fun in the garden because you're having more success. If you get something out of the video, like, share, and subscribe. And guys, have a great day.